Hey, it's Josh or Neon Ghost here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing my current Resident Evil and Silent Hill collection. Okay, so first of all we're going to start with the Resident Evil games. Now I became a fan of Resident Evil when I first played the remake of 2, back when that came out in 2018 or 2019, I can't remember exactly. But before then I was familiar with it, especially Leon Kennedy and Nemesis specifically. But I didn't grow up with the franchise or anything. But in recent years, you know, I have become quite the fan of it. So let's just get into my games. First up, we have Resident Evil 1 for the PlayStation 1. This is in a replacement case, since I bought it cheap originally and the case was not in very good condition, which is something that I do kind of regret, but it is what it is. So we have Resident Evil 1. And the whole replacement case thing applies to these two next ones as well. So that's Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 1, and then Resident Evil 3 for the PlayStation 1. I basically just used the manuals as the covers because it worked. Alright, next up we have the same games essentially, but we have Biohazard for the PlayStation 1. This is of course the Japanese version of Resident Evil 1, which is why it's called Biohazard, just in case you didn't know. But yeah, we got Biohazard, Biohazard 2. This one I actually picked up in Japan, which is pretty cool, but Biohazard 1 I just bought online. But yeah, Biohazard 2, and of course Biohazard 3, Last Escape. Not called Nemesis. Yeah, but that's pretty obvious though, isn't it? We got another Japanese Resident Evil game, which is Resident Evil 4 for the Gamecube. And the reason I picked it up was just because I wanted to own a Japanese Gamecube game, simply for the packaging. But yeah, Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 again for the PlayStation 2, but this is the Steelbook version. I currently have it in a protective sleeve as I display it in my glass cabinet. But yeah, Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil, The Dark Side Chronicles for the Nintendo Wii, and then Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles for also the Nintendo Wii. Resident Evil, Code Veronica X for the PlayStation 2. I think this only comes in a Platinum version, I think, but either way, here it is. Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2. Resident Evil Outbreak for PlayStation 2, obviously. Yeah, and of course Resident Evil Outbreak File 2 for the PlayStation 2 also. And the last Japanese Resident Evil game, I believe, yes it is, Biohazard Revival Selection for the PlayStation 3. I believe this can only be bought in Japan, or of course through a seller that's not in Japan. But it was an exclusive release to Japan. Basically, it's Code Veronica X and Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 3, so which is why I picked that up. We have Resident Evil 5 for the PlayStation 3, Resident Evil 6 for the PlayStation 3, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City for the PlayStation 3. I actually quite enjoyed playing this one recently, so check that video out. Resident Evil Revelations 1 for the PlayStation 3, and then of course Resident Evil Revelations 2 for the PlayStation 3. Moving on to the next-gen Resident Evil games. So we have Resident Evil, the Origins Collection for the PlayStation 4. We have the Resident Evil 2 Remake for the PlayStation 4, which I mentioned earlier. This was the first Resident Evil game that I ever played and owned. So it got me into the franchise. Great game, yeah. We have Resident Evil 3 for the PlayStation 4. This is the remake of 3. I got it in mine in like a slipcover, because I believe I pre-ordered the game when it was announced. But yeah, Resident Evil 3. We have Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 5. Again, another slipcover. Resident Evil 7 for the PlayStation 4. When I first got this game, I got it digitally, but of course I needed a physical copy. So Resident Evil 7, another great Resident Evil game. And lastly, we have Resident Evil Village for the PlayStation 5. Another slipcover, because I pre-ordered it. Yeah. Alright, and that is my current collection of Resident Evil games. Let me know which one your favorite is. So far, I think I have quite a bit. I know I don't have all of them, but I'll probably end up trying to get more eventually, especially Resident Evil 9 when that comes out. And Resident Evil Gaiden, I would love to get, but that is really expensive. That's for the Game Boy Color, I believe. But yeah. Alright, next up are my Silent Hill games. So we have Silent Hill Shattered Memories for the PSP. This is the Japanese version, if you can't already tell. And then we have Silent Hill Origins for the PSP. We have Silent Hill 2 for the PlayStation 2. This is the Japanese version, which majority of the Japanese games in this video, apart from Biohazard 1 and 3, I got in Japan when I was there. It's all in my Japan video, so check that out as well if you haven't already. We have Silent Hill Downpour for the PlayStation 3. Silent Hill Homecoming for the PlayStation 3 as well. Silent Hill the HD Collection, which is basically Silent Hill 2 and 3, essentially remastered to HD. There's mixed opinions on these remasters, especially specifically for Silent Hill 2, but I haven't properly played it yet, so maybe it's not as bad as what people say, but I don't know. Silent Hill Downpour again, this is the Japanese version for PlayStation 3, of course. We have Silent Hill 2, the remake for PlayStation 5, really enjoyed this. And then of course the most recent Silent Hill game, Silent Hill F for the PlayStation 5. I'm currently in the middle of playing this, I'm enjoying it so far, but yeah, Silent Hill F. And that's all my Silent Hill games. As you can tell, I have much more Resident Evil games than I do Silent Hill, which honestly I think that's because Silent Hill is kind of more expensive. I do plan, of course, on getting more Silent Hill games, and more Resident Evil as well. Both franchises I've grown to really like a lot more and more. Just something about them, especially the original earlier games, have such a nice feel to them. Even though I didn't grow up with them, they're very nostalgic for some reason, and the aesthetics are really pleasing. Anyway, that's my entire Resident Evil and Silent Hill collection. If you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Not sure when that is or what that is, possibly back rooms. We'll see. Not that I'll see you in the back rooms, but the game, the back rooms, it's the game. Not the actual, but I'm not going to see you in the actual back rooms. I'm saying it's the game of the back. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.